Hello, welcome to Adventures with Scripture. I'm Carolyn. Today we will be reading Revelation chapter 13. And as we know from reading chapter 12, Satan has been cast down to the earth and he is enraged knowing that his time is short. We'll see how Satan works through the earth and the religious system to deceive the world and wage war against God's people. Today's video will probably be a little longer than I usually like them to be, but there's a lot of information, and we will be reading Daniel chapter 7, and we will also be reading Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 20. If you hear noise in the background, the dogs are restless as normal. It's been raining all day today, so I have not been able to take them out on a walk. I miss my sunny day from a couple of days ago. Then I saw a beast rising up out of the sea. It had 7 heads and 10 horns, with the 10 crowns on its horns. And written on each head were names that blasphemed God. This beast looked like a leopard, but it had the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave the beast its own power and throne and great authority. I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. They worshipped the dragon for giving the beast such power, and they also worshipped the beast, who is as great as the beast. They exclaimed, "Who is able to fight against him?" Then the beast was allowed to speak great blasphemies against God. And he was given authority to do whatever he wanted for 42 months. And he spoke terrible words of blasphemy against God, slandering his name and his dwelling, that is, those who dwell in heaven. And the beast was allowed to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And he was given authority to rule over every tribe and every people and every language and every nation. And all of the people who belong to this world worshipped the beast. They are the ones whose names were not written in the book of life that belongs to the Lamb, who was slaughtered before the world was made. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Anyone who is destined for prison will be taken to prison. Anyone destined to die by the sword will die by the sword. This means that God's holy people must endure prosecution patiently and remain faithful. And then I saw another beast come up from the earth. He had 2 horns like those of a lamb, but he spoke with the voice of a dragon. He exercised all the authority of the first beast, and he required all the earth and its people to worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. He did astonishing miracles, even making fire flash down to the earth from the sky while everyone was watching. And with all of these miracles he was allowed to perform on behalf of the first beast, he deceived all the people who belonged to the world. He ordered people to make a great statue of the first beast, who was fatally wounded and then came back to life. He was then permitted to give life to the statue that could speak. Then the statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die. He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slaved, to be given the mark on the right hand or the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. So, as we're reading, the beast is rising up, and that often symbolizes the restlessness of the nations of the world. And he has 7 heads and the 10 horns, 10 crowns, and he has blasphemous names. So we're going to head over to Daniel chapter 7. So we can get started there. Earlier, during the first year of King Belshazzar's reign in Babylon, Daniel had a dream and saw a vision. And as he lay his head in bed, he wrote down the dream, and this is what he saw. In my vision that night, I, Daniel, saw a great store churning the surface of the great sea, with strong winds blowing from every direction. Then 4 huge beasts came up out of the water, each different from the other. The first beast was like a lion with eagle wings. As I watched, its wings were pulled off, and it was left standing with its 2 hind feet on the ground like a human being, and it was given a human mind. Then I saw the second beast, and it looked like a bear. It was roaring up on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And I heard a voice saying to it, "Get up, devour the flesh of many people." Then the third of these strange beasts appeared, and it looked like a leopard. It had 4 birds' wings on its back, and it had 4 heads. Great authority was given to this beast. Then in my vision that night, I saw the 4th beast, terrifying, dreadful, and very strong. It devoured and crushed its victims with huge iron teeth and trampled their remains beneath its feet. It was different from any other beast, and it had 10 horns. As I was looking at the horns, suddenly another small horn appeared among them. 3 of the first horns were torn out by the roots to make room for it. This little horn had eyes like human eyes and a mouth that was boasting arrogantly. I watched as thrones were put in place, and the Ancient One sat down to judge. His clothing was like white as snow, his hair like pure wool. He sat on the fiery throne with wheels of blazing fire, and a river of fire pouring out, flowing from his presence. Millions of angels ministered to him. Many millions stood to attend him, and the court began its session, and the books were open. I continued to watch because I could not hear the little horn's boastful speech. I kept watching until the fourth beast was killed and its body was destroyed by fire. The other three beasts had their authority taken from them, but they were allowed to live a while longer. As my vision continued that night, I saw someone like a son of man coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient One and was led into his presence. He was given authority, honor, and sovereignty over all the nations of the world, so that people of every race, every nation, and every language would obey his rule is eternal. It will never end. His kingdom will never be destroyed. I, Daniel, was troubled by all I seen, and my visions terrified me. So I approached one who was standing beside the throne and asked him what it all meant. He explained it to me like this. These four huge beasts represent four kingdoms that will arise from earth. But in the end, the holy people of the Most High will be given the kingdom, and they will rule forever and ever. Then I wanted to know the true meaning of the fourth beast, the one so different from the others, and so terrifying. It had devoured and crushed its victims with iron teeth and bronze claws, trampling their remains beneath his feet. As I was about to ask, I also asked about the 10 horns of the fourth beast's head and the little horn that came up after and destroyed 3 of the other horns. This horn had seemed greater than the others, and it had human eyes and a mouth that was boasting arrogantly. As I watched, this horn was waging war against God's holy people and was defending them, until the Ancient One, the Most High, came and judged in favor of his holy people. Then the time arrived for the holy people to take over the kingdom. Then he said to me, this fourth beast is the fourth world power that will rule the earth. It will be different from all the others. It will devour the whole world, trampling and crushing everything in its path. Its 10 horns are 10 kings who will rule that empire. Then another king will arise, different from the other 10, who will subdue 3 of them. He will defy the Most High and oppress the holy people of the Most High. He will try to change their sacred festivals and laws, and they will be placed under his control for a times and a half a time. But then the court will pass judgment, and all his power will be taken away and completely destroyed. Then the sovereignty, power, and greatness of all the kingdoms under heaven will be given to the holy people of the Most High. His kingdom will last forever, and all rulers will serve and obey him. That was the end of the vision. I, Daniel, was terrified by my thoughts, and my face was pale with fear, but I kept these things to myself. Now, if you wouldn't mind meeting me in Isaiah 57, and we're just going to read 20. But those who still reject me are like the restless seas, which is never still, but continuously churning up mud and dirt. So, go back to Revelation 13. And that was a lot of reading. Sorry, there was a couple times my dogs were a little restless. Thank you, Miss Poodle. And I was trying to get her to come over to me and trying to read at the same time. All right, so as Daniel's visions show us, this is not new power, but the final form of a long-standing rebellious kingdom. And of course, the dragon gives the beast his power, gives him a throne and authority. And this reveals that the beast is empowered by Satan, not merely just a political leader. And then one of the heads appears to receive a fatal wound in its head. And of course, the world, when they see it healed, they automatically think, oh, he must be our new Messiah. That's how I see it anyway. And they'll follow the beast, because you would be surprised how many people have never even opened a Bible. So anyways, this interpretation includes it's a counterfeit resurrection from the beast getting a fatal wound, and it also will reveal a fallen empire along with a deceptive sign meant to mimic Jesus. And no matter how it's viewed, the world will awe in alliance over it. Along with, there will be blasphemy and prosecution, and the beast will speak out against God, and he blasphemies God's name, and all of the heavenly people, all of God's people. And he is allowed to wage war against saints and conquer them physically, but never spiritually. As long as people hold on to their beliefs and they stand strong in the Lord, they'll get through it. It's going to be devastating just from what we read in Revelation. And of course, this authority is going to last for 42 months, the 3.5 years. And it's emphasized that his power is limited. It's not permanent, and it's not eternal. And this will cause people to have patience and endure, but stay faithful no matter what. And that's going to be the hard part, is how many people, when the mark does come, are going to take it because they need to take care of their kids. That will be the downfall of many, even true believers. I have other ideas, but I like to focus on the Bible and not give too much of what I personally think. So there will be the appearance versus reality. The second beast that rises, and he looks like a lamb, and his appearance will come off gentle and religious and Christ-like, and then he will speak like a dragon, and this will reveal Satan's deception. The beast represents false religion and spiritual deception. And then, of course, he will perform great signs, and people will see him call fire down from the sky, and they'll think it came from heaven. And so who's to say how people are going to perceive that? Just reading the Bible, a lot of people will be deceived, unfortunately. And of course, none of these miracles are from God, but they are, living wonders designed to draw worship away from God. And then you have the image of the beast He's a false prophet, and he'll cause people to make an image of himself, causing more people to think, oh, he is the Messiah. There will be, unfortunately, a lot of people that will fall under that. And then this will mirror the Old Testament with the idol worship when the statue is built. And it'll be on a global scale. So it's not like it's in a state or a single country. It is going to be global. It will be everywhere. And of course, the mark of the beast is how they're really, the economic control. I don't know if anyone's seen anything on these 15-minute cities. I don't know a lot about them. I will look into them. But it is a way to control movement, where you go. But once again, with the mark of the beast, it becomes that control. You can't buy or sell without it. Now, as I just said a few minutes ago, there will be people that will take it, even full-on Christians, because they don't want their babies to starve. Unfortunately, there will be a lot of that. And once they take the mark, once it's placed on the right hand or the forehead, that is going to be, they're done. And I have my ideas on what I think the mark is, but once again, it's only my opinion, so I don't want to take anybody down a rabbit hole that you may have your own ideas. Anyways, this allegiance and loyalty, it is deliberate. It's a deliberate act of worship. And so anybody that worships the false idol, it's in our 10 Commandments. You have no gods before God. And then, of course, the mark is a number of a man and a name, and it represents the human perfection attempt, but it's not done with God. And then falling short of the divine 7, because the 666 is the mark of the beast, or his name. So rather than speculate, Scripture emphasizes wisdom and discernment, not fear. And in the Bible, I did look it up, it says, do not fear 365 times in the Bible. So it's pretty much every single day of the year, with the exception of leap year, once every 4 years. Couple things to take note of, it's our key stuff, is Satan will imitate God but can never replace him. Evil is organized and will be pursuing, but it is temporary. Worship is the center issue of the end times, but God's people are called. We need to endure it. We need to have discernment. And we need to stay faithful to God no matter what. So no power operating outside of God's sovereign permissions. So this will happen under God's authority. And when the 3.5 years is up, God will step in and end it. So thank you guys so much for going through all of this with me. Like I said, this was a much longer video than I generally do. I hope you all have an incredible day, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend with your family. I will be praying for everyone. Please comment, like, and subscribe.